What is going on, guys? It is Trifecta J here, and we will be going through the Season 2 off-season today, as of course we did finish 8-8 and missed the playoffs, but we will go ahead and extend Mike McCoy's contract. It was definitely something I considered looking at a new coach, but I thought, what coach would we get that would truly advance this team more than he can? And we ended up just giving him a contract extension. Ladarius Green and Melvin Gordon both make the Pro Bowl, as that's good to see. They were both very, very good this year. A little surprised Keenan Allen or Trevon Lewis did not make it, as they were both very effective this year as wide receivers. And now we look at the defense. Our defense was very bad for the most part this year. I was surprised Denzel Perryman also didn't make it, though. And then Eric Weddle was another guy. But Trevon Lewis does end up making it as a kick returner and probably will play a little wide receiver in the Pro Bowl. I look at the wild card games, now the divisional games, as you have the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Patriots and the Panthers and Cowboys, with a Cincinnati Cowboy Super Bowl and the Bengals win their first Super Bowl of their franchise. So Larry Fitzgerald has decided to retire along with Terrell Suggs, DeMarcus Ware, so a couple of legends of the NFL have retired. Julius Peppers actually has a career-ending injury that forces him to retire along with Trent Cole. But one of the biggest retirements, Phillip Rivers has decided to retire after 13 years, will leave a ton of money on the table with his contract, and that is huge to see. So it'll now be Keyshawn Lindley's team. We'll have to see what the second-year quarterback will be able to do in Season 3 of this franchise. Danny Woodhead also retires, but he was not a guy I was considering bringing back. And look at some of the franchise tag guys, as Eric Berry gets tagged, John Kuhn, Josh Norman gets tagged. He definitely would have been a guy I would have looked at. And then Alshon and DeAndre Hopkins. And look at our list of free agents: Eric Weddle, Mike DeVito, Craig Stevens, Brandon Mebane, all older players who I was definitely considering moving on from, as I wanted to get this team a little more young, a little more athletic through the draft and through free agency, especially on defense, because we really struggled there. Our first guy that we'll try and re-sign will be Mike Adams, starting towards the bottom of our board, along with Deion Jordan, as these are guys who are good depth players, maybe not the highest impact guys, but you have to have the depth, and the guys who can come in if a player gets hurt, or just for whatever reason needs to play, as we will look to rotate more along our defensive line this year, as we more work with our hybrid set that we've used towards the end of the half part of last year. Davian Garner and Darius Woods both get offered contracts. Ahmad Dixon, who I thought played pretty well last year, will get a contract, but we're definitely going to look to upgrade over him either in free agency or the draft. I know there was a strong safety that I really liked. One guy who wanted a lot of money is Denard Reeves. He was an undrafted player and now wants around $5 million a year, and we'll give him just over that. And now look at the big board. These were all guys who I didn't really even offer to, as I was not interested in bringing them back. Either they were not productive, they were getting up there in age, or I thought I could find a replacement. Only person who was not along those lines was Davian Gardner. It said he didn't accept, but he actually did. I don't know why it says that. And you look at the big board, a lot of very talented defensive players and wide receivers. You can see Drew Brees is actually a free agent, along with Emmanuel Sanders, Terrence Williams, Brandon LaFell is there, Eric Reed. And the first guy we're going to target is Dante Hightower. I feel like he would be a great fit in our hybrid scheme. He can play a middle linebacker in the 3-4 or outside linebacker in the 4-3. Another guy is Eric Reed. I wanted to get a replacement for Eric Weddle, and he is very talented, a good guy who could play either strong or free safety for us, depending on what our need is. Another guy is Tank Carradine. He will probably play more in the 4-3 version of our defense, along with Melvin Ingram, and we'll look to give him not too big of a contract, around $10 million for 4 years. John Jenkins would be a replacement for Brandon Mebane at defensive tackle, I guess nose tackle, and would play in the 4-3 and the 3-4, and would be a very good run stopper in that 3-4 run set. So Captain Munnerlyn, a guy who I'd probably bring in to be our number 4 corner, but he just wants a 1-year deal, and we have a ton of cap room, so that's definitely something we can afford to offer. We would increase the bonus for Eric Reed by $2 million. I look at some of the other guys. We're looking at Deion Sims, Ryan Nassib to be our new backup quarterback, Andre Ellington to replace Brandon Oliver as a third down back or just backup running back. And look at some of the combine numbers. Justin Thornton, the strong safety I was talking about earlier, he ran a 4.57, and he has amazing attributes. Another corner, maybe not a higher priority, but just looking at these attributes, he looks to be so good. Great coverage ratings and amazing speed. Maybe a late round guy, early 6th round, maybe if he drops into the 7th. He has good speed, very good power moves, and could be a good pass rusher. Now, Madison Roberts, who is an early second round, maybe late first round pick, he has very good combine numbers, good pass, good impact. Not sure about his run blocking, but I really feel like he could be a very talented player. Christian Jones, another guy that we were targeting, and we would end up getting John Jenkins, Justin Hunter, Deion Sims, and Tank Carradine. So 4 more players have signed. Corey Hardy, a running back that we're going to definitely try and get in that middle rounds of the draft. He's a power back, something that we really missed last year, and he's strong, actually has some good speed. Ben Peterson could be a good middle round, later round prospect. He has nice speed, very good size, can go up and get the ball, and also has good catching attributes, at least the ones that we can see. Shane Sharp, he has good catching, very good speed out of Pittsburgh. He's a route runner, so we don't see his route running, but I would expect it to be pretty good. And now Drew Blanchard, a early first round pick, but these aren't really guys that I'm targeting. But I don't know if you remember last year, Trevon Lewis came out of Ohio State, and now we have 4 receivers from Ohio State, all projected to go in the first round. That is to be one of the deepest receiving corps that I've ever seen coming out of college. We would end up increasing Dante Hightower's offer to around $60 million over 5 years, and he would accept it, and we got every free agent that we wanted. Eric Reed signs, Captain Munnerlyn will be our new number 4 corner, I guess dime corner, and look at all of the players we signed. A lot of defensive players. Michael Burton, a new fullback for us, as we did not bring back David Johnson, and that will be such a good upgrade for this defense. I feel like that's a ton of new talent coming in, a lot of good athleticism, and just a ton of skill as well. Hey, look at the AFC West now. Some of the signings. Latavius Murray goes from the Raiders to the Chiefs. You also have DJ Swearinger to the Raiders. Darren Waller, who was on our team last year, goes to the Chiefs. Along with Taylor Gabriel, who is a guy that I was definitely going to target, but he ended up going to the Raiders. A look, the number 1 overall pick is a quarterback to the St. Louis Rams. A look at some more players. A couple of cornerbacks go off the board. Still not the guy that I was really targeting in this early round. And he's still there, and it was the guard, Madison Roberts, I believe was his name. He was definitely the person I wanted, so we're going to trade down with Dallas. So we dropped down to number 31, but we're actually going to trade away our first-round pick for next year and get the 28th pick in this year's draft, and we're going to take Madison Roberts. I was worried about him not lasting to that 31st pick, so we ended up trading that one, and look at this guy. He is the number 1 talent in this draft, and we will actually end up trading up once again. There was a lot of players that I really wanted in this range, and we would end up trading our 3rd, 2nd, and 3rd round pick. Looking at some of these wide receivers, we have a hole now at our number 3 receiver, I would say. There's not a sure guy that I'm like, that's who I want, and the guy I would actually end up picking, I thought about it a little bit, and who I would end up taking is Shane Sharp. He has 93 speed, good catching, a good pick, maybe a little bit of a reach, the 36 talent, and we would take him at number 29 overall. So we ended up getting the Cowboys pick earlier after trading down. What we'd end up doing is trading down 1 spot to 32nd, and we also pick up a 3rd round pick to try and recuperate some of the lost picks that we had from trading up. We would end up also trading down once again as we got the 2 players that I really wanted, and the next guy I was really targeting was Justin Thornton, the strong safety. So we dropped down, pick up another draft pick, just trying to recuperate some picks that we got rid of with the trade-ups. And so we would get there, and he is still available. So the 3 guys that I was really targeting in this year's draft are all on the board when I was there. It involves some trading up and another very good pick. He looks to be very talented. I'm really happy about that. And then so with our 15th pick in the 2nd round, we'll actually end up trading that for a 1st round pick next year. So we do end up recuperating a pick there. And then we get another good pick, and it's Kyle Elam, a speed rusher out of LSU. He has very good speed, very good pass rushing moves, and could be a very good player for us. Might even be able to play a little bit in the 3-4 as an outside pass rusher. Now moving forward, we're looking at some new players, and it's Antoine Hightower we end up taking, a middle linebacker. He has pretty good speed, alright coverage, not very good in man. Definitely has to develop, but I feel like he could be a very solid player. And then another guy who I really wanted, he was a guy that I had to get, and he's on the board, and he is a great pick, number 31 overall in true talent. And then with our next pick, this was a little bit of developmental guy. He has good strength, very good impact blocking, so 2 very important ratings. But it is a reach, but if we could get his 2 run and pass block up and his Awareness up, I feel like he could be a very solid center. Probably will not start right away, but by the end of the year might be able to. Then Oscar Jordan is who we pick with our next pick. He's a good athlete with good coverage ratings. And then with our 7th round pick, we have an excellent one. It is Damian Bennett. Very good impact blocking, very good strength. Definitely will need to develop some. And look at what the ratings end up being for all of our players. So 2 reaches of sorts with our last 3 picks in Jordan. I guess with a 7th round and 6th round pick, it's not that big of a deal. But the 4th round pick, maybe not the best, but I feel like he could develop into a very good player. Looking at the Chiefs draft, a couple of good early on picks, but from there, no player higher than a 64 overall. But the Broncos did very good. They got 4 players over 75 overall. That's very good value, especially in that I believe it was a 4th or 5th round pick. The Raiders did not have very many early picks as they had their 1st round pick and made it count with one of the better players. And we'll look at the number 1 overall pick, Neil Ferguson. He is an 80 overall, looks to be very talented for the St. Louis Rams and should be a day 1 starter for them, although they do have a ton of competition on that roster for the quarterback position. A look at some of the position changes. We're just looking at different guys and moving them into positions that I feel like will fit our team better than where they are now. And so looking at our roster, this to me is a much improved roster with a ton of talent. I don't see very many holes on it. A few spots would be along the offensive line at a few positions, and we would end up going out and signing a rookie punter, Spencer Stumpf. He looks to be very good, not the highest overall, but good kick power and good kick accuracy. But only 1 player on our team had the superstar development, and 1 player had the quick development, which was Shane Sharp, I do believe. A look at our schedule, but I hope you did enjoy today's video. If you did, please leave a like down below. Leave your comments on the offseason down below. Which players are you most excited for, and which players did you think was maybe not the best idea? I will see you for a season preview, which will be next, because I'm out.